So the second part of that equation, because remember, what you get, Facebook charges you, your bid in the auction is budget, estimated action rate, and advertiser score. Now, I see a lot of people falsely value the concept of a click-through rate as something that holds any merit in Facebook, and it doesn't. I've gotten into lengthy conversations. People say, well, when I have a better click-through rate, my CPA goes down. Cool. But that's not the reason the CPA went down. As a matter of fact, that better CTR is probably a result of everything else that you're doing. It's an output of that equation. It's not an actionable insight. That's an important thing to keep in mind. Now remember, click-through rate is just an equation. It's how many clicks versus how many impressions. As a matter of fact, I'm okay with a worse click-through rate. Here's why. I'd rather get 1,001 clicks out of 1,000,000 overall impressions that might result in 20 sales. I'd much rather have that than, say, 150 clicks out of 500 impressions that results in 5 sales. Now that's clearly hyperbolic, but I hope you get the point. CTR does not equate to anything when it comes to volume of overall potential for revenue. That's just not it. Doesn't mean anything. So what is the CTR? What is EAR, or estimated action rate? What types of things does Facebook actually care about? Well, it's actually pretty simple. They tell you all the time. Now let's break it down. When somebody sees your ad, are they likely to respond positively when they see it again? When somebody sees your ad, do they remember you? Brand lift. When somebody sees your ad, are they commenting, liking, sharing? Are they engaging with the ad? As somebody sees your ad, are they clicking on it? Not just the CTR, not just the call to action, the CTA, but what are they clicking on your account? Are they clicking on the see more because you have a long description, or a long primary text? Are they starting and stopping videos? Those are all clicks on an ad. If you notice, there's clicks, link clicks, and outbound link clicks, because those are all different things. When somebody sees your ad, are they likely to watch? That's view rate. That's not only view rate, but maybe also view time. Those things matter. And you see a lot of people say that any one of those things is actually what's important, but the honest truth is they're all important. And when you're doing creative testing to ultimately improve your estimated action rate, the way that you win isn't by making an ad that crushes at all of them. Have an ad that has a really good view rate, and an ad with a really good engagement rate, and an ad that's really likely to get somebody to click. Show a lot of different content inside of a single ad set at broad. And now Facebook can curate the customer journey to ultimately show the right thing at the right time, so the right impression is shown to somebody, so they're ultimately primed and conditioned to take an action when they're ready to take it from you. And if you don't care about the people, you might prime and condition them for somebody else with a better ad, and they're going to get premium inventory in that auction, because when that person hits swipe and they want to see more things, who do you think Facebook's going to show? The ad that nobody wants to see but has a great click-through rate, or the ad that that user really is probably going to enjoy? It's your choice on which one of those you want to be. The high click-through rate, or the view rate, or the ad that is focused every penny on doing one thing really well, or being the right thing at the right time for the right person, letting Facebook pick what that is. Again, that's why we don't use interest groups, we don't use lookalikes, we don't use retargeting, because those are all distractions and inhibitions on the ability for Facebook to do this at scale, and letting literally anybody in the market actually see your content. Also, broad's cheaper. The cost of the inventory is cheaper, because literally every single one of those things is broad plus a tax. That's how Facebook works. Now, the other side of estimated action rate is, while there's not actually any column that'll show you that estimated action rate, because let's be honest, it couldn't. Because let's be honest, every user is different. Every ad is a different estimated action rate for every single auction. What really matters is finding ads that do index well on the estimated action rate, so that in general, you get to get your ad shown to people with premium inventory. And Because ultimately you're providing positive experiences for people inside the Facebook algorithm and inside of the Facebook apps and the Instagram and everywhere else that ad is being shown. When somebody sees your ad and that responds, that gives positive signals back to Facebook, Facebook shows your ad to other people more often for cheaper. Which is another reason why interest groups and lookalikes are bad, because ultimately, remember, every ad is its own web page. Facebook is measuring all those CRO aspects of the web page that you made on Facebook's website, your ad, right? And that ad is effectively making its own lookalike audience. Because if your ad gets shown to 1,000 people, and then 500 people loved it and 500 people hated it, who do you think is going to represent the next 1,000 people that ad gets shown to? Is it going to be completely random? Or is it more likely that the majority of that next 1,000 impressions is going to go to the people who look like the folks that responded positively? That look like it. A lookalike audience of individuals that responded well. And they had a high estimated action rate on that ad. Well, if you have a high estimated action rate and I don't, it's going to cost me more money to show my ad to that user than... Because ultimately, one of those ads is a liability to Facebook's bottom line and the other one isn't. I hope I'm trying to explain this in a very specific manner where the opportunity for you to take in each part of this. Because ultimately, there's no data-based argument against it. And the reason for that is this is literally how the code is written. This is how the program functions. These aren't opinions. These are objective facts. And the sooner you embrace them, the better your business is going to be. It's really a choice. Remember, we said there is a choice on which one of these things you want to have and how much you want to pay. And if you make the choice to prioritize making content that people want to see, content that Facebook wants to spend money on, and then find out, well, Facebook wants to spend the money here, but the end result isn't good for my business. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of it. And then Facebook wants to spend their money here, and the end result's actually really good for my business. Cool, I'm going to keep that going. And you do that binary decision-making dozens of times. Ultimately, all you're left with is better and better versions of what Facebook wants to spend your money on. And if you focus on that, you're making the choice to pay less money to acquire a customer. Just like if you make the choice to focus on the load time of your web page, or reduce the shipping time for your products, or improve the call center, or anything else in your business that improves your advertiser score. You're making the choice to invest in getting a lower cost per acquisition, a lower bid in the Facebook algorithm. You're making the choice to reduce the CPA. And ultimately, that is the foundation of scaling your business. And again, I promise we're going to get to that, and I teased it a little bit in the first part of this. But I want you to understand the number one most important thing to take away from this is that if your ad is a liability to Facebook's business model, it is going to cost you more and more money to advertise on Facebook. It's pretty straightforward. And if your ad is actually an asset to Facebook's business model, not only is it going to cost you less and less money to advertise on Facebook, but your ads are going to be shown to better and better people. And because it costs less, if you don't change your budget, you reach more and more of them. And because you're using the same ad to reach more and more people that are higher and higher quality, while you're getting that premium inventory, you're getting a higher volume of traffic to your store of a whole bunch of people that are pretty similar. So what happens after the click is really easy to start to optimize towards. One of the easiest ways of working on your conversion rate optimization on your website is making sure that your ads are things that people want to see. All of these things are connected. And remember, Facebook is the amplification to your business. So if you work on making sure that the tip of the spear is actually any good, everything else is going to skyrocket with potential. And that's something that we really, really have to understand and know in our bones. If you have any questions about that stuff, please feel free to comment, send me an email, reply back to anything that you see here. Ask in the open. And if you need any other resources, go to link.facebookdisruptor.com. Let me know.